Why don't you talk to me a little bit just about growing up in South Carolina, your mom, Shirley, and the impact she had, the work ethic, and everything kind of just starting off your life in South Carolina?
Well, I grew up in Greenville, South Carolina. You know, my mom was a mother of three. I have two sisters, Sonia and Ashley. And my mom was a very strong, very impactful woman. She worked at a factory at 3M for many years. And, you know, me and my sisters rather, knew hard work at an early age. I was the kid who was on his bike. I was the kid that was everywhere in the neighborhood, but I was also the kid that would cut your grass. I was also the kid who had chores, real chores, not this stuff these kids have now. I'm talking about, you know, the three of us, me and my sisters in this house, cleaning this whole house while our moms at work. And, you know, I guess, you know, for me, that's where hard work started, if not a work ethic was implanted in.
How'd you get into basketball, and kind of when did you fall in love with the game?
We moved from a rough neighborhood to a nicer neighborhood, which was called Malden. And I came from Greenville and living in the valley. I'm from Pleasant Valley. They call it Pleasant Valley, really rough neighborhood, District 25 as they call it now. And I lived on Deoli, and everybody, and it was just a ton of guys, ton of boys, just the neighborhood was full of boys. But it was 3 streets, and they called the whole thing Pleasant Valley, and they played football. I lived right beside a middle school called Hughes Middle School, shout to Hughes. In the back of it was just huge field where all the neighborhood guys would just go back there, and that's where you played ball. You got in the fights, this crew or your crew, you know, yeah. Neighborhood stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Well, my mom moved us for a better life and a better way. And all the guys in this neighborhood were pretty boys. You know, they had collared shirts, and it was the first time I seen Tommy Hilfiger, and it was the first time I seen Polo, and they played basketball. They didn't necessarily play football. And they was more, I called them pretty boys. Not, y'all don't play football there? No, we play basketball. So in order to play, I had to learn how to play, and that's how I was first introduced to basketball.
Did you pick up the game right away and just fall in love with the game, or did it take you a while going from the roughhousing football to playing basketball?
I'll be honest, man. My love came from getting my ass whooped. There's a kid across the street named Billy. I don't even know Billy's last name to this day. We called him Billy. He was the only white kid on our block, and he loved Christian Laettner. Clicked his heels, he banked everything. I think Laettner hit a shot against Seton Hall. He mimicked it. And he was the only kid that had a basketball goal at his house. So, you know, that was a huge deal. So my friend across the street, Bug, Billy was Bug's neighbor. And Bug is one of my friends. Our mothers were close friends. And he introduced me to everybody in the neighborhood. And it was because Billy would basically bust my ass every day that I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll come in here and I'll play the first day, and the second day it was like, okay. By the third, fourth day, I got tired of being a stick man, which is when you put your hands up and no one's passing you the ball. I started to understand what I was doing, and slowly but surely, from a competitive standpoint, I wanted to be better, just so that I can compete, and just so, you know, guys would pass me the ball. And I can say, Mac, when I started, I never looked back. I didn't think about football. I didn't think about cross country because I was a really good track runner and all this. Or I was into track. When I picked the ball up, it was over. You know how they say love at first sight? Yeah. That was it for me.
Yeah.
And then I started finding things that I liked about the game. Then I started watching the game. And Magic Johnson, and I could say Kenny Anderson, along with Malik Sealy for some reason, because he was a dark skin and he looked like me, and I just found some type of, you know, St. John. So I found this, it made this whole creative story in my head, and I just chased that.
They probably don't know that you wanted to wear those baggy shorts in Michigan, and that was your team. And I remember we talked about that, and they had the long baggy shorts, and you really wanted to do that too. So, you know, how did the decision, Kevin? Because you were eligible to go there later, right before the draft, as a matter of fact. When did you decide, no, you know what, I'm not going to do Michigan, I'm going to do the pros, I'm going to make this huge jump, even when you had the opportunity to do either?
Well, like I told you, where I'm from, going to college was a big deal.
Yeah. And your mother really wanted you to go to college.
My mom is huge on education. You know, my sisters and I are very educated. We're not, you know, dummies and none by the sense. I went on a couple visits, and I'll be honest, Mac, when it hit me, is when I knew I was going to the league, is when I took a visit to Michigan. This was my second visit. And I knew it was between Michigan and North Carolina. North Carolina for what they taught. And because I come from that kind of system, my high school coach from South Carolina was a North Carolina alumni. He taught a bunch of posts and, he taught, front the post and denied three-quarters and head on the swivel seat, man and ball, like things that I really value from the core of, being a basketball player and helping me grow IQ-wise. I saw Steve Fisher from Michigan being like my high school coach, Wolf, in Chicago, for letting me show different things that I wasn't necessarily being able to showcase in the game. In the basketball game, you're not going to play point guard. You're going to play the five. You're going to, stay in the paint. You're not going to do a lot of things. But you come into Mall Center over at on the west side of Chicago on 16th and Lundale, where it's really like Iraq. You'll see me in there playing, and you see me handling the ball, and I'm a whole nother player. Yeah. So I looked at him as being able to help me and show or push me to be better or more than what I was. And at the time, Jamal Mashburn, Grant Hill were bigger, supposed to be bigger guards who were power forwards in their right, but could handle the ball and play some point forward. And that was starting to be the new kind of something. And I followed that. I wanted to be able to be not just be one-dimensional, I wanted to be multi-dimensional. So I actually took him serious. And I went up and we wanted to go play. And I said, let's go to the gym, man. They said, oh, no, we got to go ask the assistant coach to give us the keys and open up, and they can't. Yeah. I come in when I want. I got my own place. Yeah. It's me and my sister in here. I don't have any curfews in here. I got to get up at a certain time, so I'm in it. So I'm on a system. I'm like, you got to go ask who? Oh, man, we can't just go in the gym. No, we can't just. And I could feel myself being frustrated with that. Okay. Having to. Not that I have problems with authority or none of that, because that wasn't the case, but I had got to a point where I wasn't asking anybody nothing. I was creating my own, and with that, you know how your mom say, in my house, you're going to do it the way I say it. So that was kind of echoing in my head, like, I'm providing all of this. So, I'm doing it the right way. I'm doing it, with no intent. It's coming from a good place. This is what I'm going to do. Okay. And kind of went from there. Okay. Didn't have the formula yet to get to the league, but...
Yeah, but you knew you were going to get... you knew you were going there at that point.
I knew I was not going to do the norm.
The fifth pick in the 1995 NBA draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Kevin Garnett from Farragut Academy in Chicago.
Now, you get to Minnesota, a whole new world kind of opens up to you, and practice starts. Your first practice, you worked so hard, you were laying on the ground when practice ended. I remember going to the trainer saying, he gave so much energy, there's no way he's going to be able to bring that same energy in the second practice. But you did. What gave you that just unbelievable energy when you stepped on the floor to play basketball at such a high level and just at such a high energetic level and to be able to do it day after day after day?
Kev, you know me. I'm super competitive. Just like when Billy was busting my ass in the front yard and I had to get to that point. I felt like this is my chance. This is the chance I was sitting, looking out the window, praying about. Yeah. This is it. What are you going to do with it? So I've always made a point that every time I hit the floor, leave everything out here. And what I've learned throughout all of this is that people respect you for when you give everything. I didn't know, but, I watched my mom come in, go 6-6, and you in here, give everything you got. That was it. I never forget that, because I came to you, and I was so, like, that had to be the most hurt I was in for a while, man. I tell you, I had a fresh body. Yeah. Look, to that day, I don't even know what that feels like anymore, right? But I remember I said, Mag, man, you did this for how? He said, yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. Did it for 13 years, brother. Hey, look, it gets easier. I said, really? He said, yeah, just keep going, young fella. Just keep going. Never forget that. You mess with me. Yeah. I mean, I was going to Taco Bell and KFC to get some chicken. You was like, oh, brother, you're going to have to quit eating that. No. But you know what, Mac? I never wanted to let you down. Yeah. I never wanted to let Flip down. I didn't want to let myself down.
I promise you didn't. That was the first day, again, I watched you. And I was like, man, this guy just brings such an unbelievable amount of energy. So now we have an exhibition game, and the popcorn started popping, and you even brought more energy. And all of a sudden, I saw the first the KG yell, the KG scream to get out there. And you were talking trash. I'm like, this crazy guy is talking trash, and he's not even sure what he's doing.
It was Big Dog. It was Big Dig. Big Dog.
Yes,
Big Dog neighborhood guy. Big Dog, shout out to Big Dog, Glenn Robb, man. He was super cool. And, you hit the flow, ain't no friends out here. So, he was like, yeah, what's up, young fella? You in trouble tonight. I'm playing the three. I don't really know how to guard threes. So, I got my ass kicked, and it was cool. Because from that, I started to learn. I could say every night, I made it my point to learn something every night and to apply it. I didn't really know what I was doing, Mac. I just knew I was competing, and I knew I was catching little stuff. I knew what he did the first time, I wasn't gonna go for it the second time. Like I was just on-job training, and it was just going fast. Once the ball gets popped up, go up in the air, man, it is going. So from that, I like to think that I was able to keep up. I was able to process. As fast as it was going, I was able to process it, which is key in all that.
You have unbelievable, really look at it, coming out of high school, success in the NBA very, very early.
Right.
Then enter contract and you sign the big contract. Okay, now all of a sudden, there's a lot of talk about the contract, and we've talked about this before. How did you feel kind of going in there? Because I know it was you sat in my office one day and we talked about it a little bit, about the weight of that contract and stuff, and but what did you feel? Because boy, the whole kind of basketball world was looking at you saying, look at this great big deal this young fella has signed.
The contract matured everything. It made it real live business. Part of the NBA and the fun of it is the basketball. All day, I could play basketball till I'm blue in the face. Just keep on hooping. Just take a nap, wake back up and do it again. The greatest part of the NBA is the basketball. One of the down parts of it is the business, because the dollars and cents make everything real, There's no more naiveness in that. We don't need you to be 19, 18. We need you to be 25 now. Yeah, I know you're 21. I know you're 22, so what? We need you to be this now. With this money comes, now you have to tell an older player something that you might not want to say or you're not comfortable with. Now you have to be this type of leader. Now these are the standards, and everything was doing this and this. And I'm not gonna say that it changed our relationship, but it did, versus me being kidding, fun and playful with you. Now we gotta go up here and negotiate. You got a number, I got a number. I'm seeing another side and the business side of you. You seeing me and my team, the business side. And it's friction or flip and, just different parts that was kind of like, hey. Now it's like, no, relax. And the conversation was different.
Yeah.
And I just looked at it like I had to mature. I had to adjust. Just like when I moved from South Carolina to Chicago. Now I'm in Chicago dealing with in Minnesota. So do you have to do those things in your life? And I looked at it like the first parts of me being a businessman was this contract. I was in Jamaica, right here, opened up the paper, had the coconut between my legs, and I remember I went to go grab the coconut and it said, Garnett denies 122, and I speak the coconut out, what? Hey, get your stuff, we gone. Balled up the paper, on the phone, hey, get it. Both phones going, got on a plane, got back here, and started to control my business ever since.
Now, I saw the way of the contract only on you for a little bit to start the season. But you eventually, very, very quickly, kind of just got back to playing basketball.
Right.
And we had talked about that. We stayed in my office one time, and we just talked about it. I said, no one's going to care how much money you make once the ball goes in the air.
Right.
They're going to find out what are you going to bring that night.
I remember you said this, Sid. Now that you got this contract, you have a bullseye on your back. I said, a bullseye? I said, yeah, people gonna come for you. And that was the first time, somebody's playing hard against you, but to be put in those words for like, what do you mean, come for me? Come for me? Like, yeah, come for you. They want to say, hey, if I did this against Kevin Garnett, I should be this. And it was the first time I looked at money and I started to see where the money, not for me necessarily, but the people around me started to change. Best friends that I was cool with in high school that lived in other places, New York, and guys I grew up with, they started to change off of what I was making. I really didn't see I don't know if it was me being naive, but I really never focused on that. I just kind of was in the moment, and I was just going. And I had a structure, and I was just enjoying life. I ended up buying a house and traveling and doing things that I wanted to do. So I never really looked at it or felt the pressure because I knew I wanted to be the best in this league, and at some point I was going to be the best in this league, and I was going to be a champion if I was going to have to die to do it. Yeah. And that's where I had no problems with being the poster boy for all of this. Because you know what? At some point, I'm going to be the best in this. And you can tell Shaq, you can tell whoever, you can tell Kobe, this is my makeup. We get out here, we roll the ball out, I'm competing every time. You put me on the line, I'm scratching every time. This is what I'm doing. Not knowing that Kobe thinking the same thing, Shaq thinking the same thing, Timmy thinking the same thing. So then I start, oh, okay, I'm not crazy. This is how the best think.
Now, at what point in Boston did you say, hey, we got a team that can win a championship? How early in that year did you say, we're good enough to win a championship?
It just was different. We had a practice, and after practice, we went to New York for a exhibition, and we went out to go dinner. So I called Paul and Ray. Come down. Hey, you want to grab some dinner? I said, let's go over to whatever. Come down. We ran into a couple guys, Doe, T.A., Perk. Hey, man, what y'all doing, man? We're trying to go eat something to eat, man. Y'all, what? Yeah? Oh, yeah, come on. As we go out the door, boom, turn to the left, some guys coming down the street. Gabe, Baby. Hey, yo, where y'all going? Yeah, we're going to grab some. Other than Scott Pollard and maybe Scal, we was always together. The connection was there. We was like brothers. Be arm wrestling at dinner, talking stories. Who got the chair? Y'all got the chair. We playing cards. It was a different feel. Now, when I'm with Sam, Malik, I'm with, Sam Cassell, Spreewell, we were family, but it wasn't like everybody. It wasn't our whole team. Then Scal, then Scott every now and then. Then we come in and we practice. And we practice with this level of, the green team, which is, the starters, and the white team, and then they thought they were better, and we wanted to bet and Doc, get out of here. We're going to play after they leave.
Yeah. No.
Not with that connection. And that's when it hit me. Man, we're going to win. We're going to at least get a chance at winning something. Yeah. Just off this relationship here.
And we won't be to Boston for Game 6 of the NBA Finals. How about a three for Ray Allen? How about yes?
Paul Pierce from downtown.
Bounce pass, Garnett diving and hangs in the air. Throws it off the window and in. Scored and the foul. KG crashes to the floor, but so might have the hopes of the Los Angeles Lakers.
And then all of a sudden we win, and I'm in the moment, and
anything's possible. Anything's possible.
It was just. Mac, it was all going so fast that I couldn't. I was just trying to hold on. I put my seatbelt on. I was holding on like this, like, you have a kid, you got a ring, you won, you got to do this, you're on Letterman, you're in California, what?
You guys are playing in Game 7. You're in L.A.
and bring up the
I know, because I have those games too, brother, so but you guys had it right there, Kev. I mean, how often do you look at that and just think, man, it was right there, and all it would have taken for you guys is 1 or 2 plays.
Mac, it's the hardest game I ever played to date.
Yeah.
And what's crazy? We knew we was going back in at like 9-minute mark, 10-minute mark, and Doc was like, "Hey, look, Game 7, hey, that's it. I'm going with my money. I'm going with my troops." Mm-hmm. No worse feeling from when you are looking at your legs. Telling your legs to move, telling whatever you can get out of your legs right now, please give me. It was the most tired I've ever been in a game. I was exhausted. No worse feeling than because we was in a situation 2 years prior to where LA actually had us down 25.
Yeah.
And we came back and won that game. And now we up 25. And I'm like, oh. And I looked at Paul, and we kind of he was like, bro, we just got to get through this quarter.
Exactly.
And we was gassed. And 22 went to 20. 25 went to 22. 22 went to 20. And then 18. And then 16. And then 13. And timeout. And then we was all kind of like, and I don't, listen, so much that I don't even remember the first one. You know, obviously I remember it. I remember the second one like it was yesterday. Yeah. And I just remember being out of gas. And I just remember they was letting me play in cold, super physical with that. And next thing you know, it's confetti. It was over.
The LA Lakers, the 2010 NBA champions.
I didn't leave LA's locker room until like 5 in the morning. And I can hear them. I can hear them outside. And I remember Rashid getting up, retiring right there. And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't a bunch of boo-hooing. Guys weren't, you know, but everybody was like stunned. When nobody talking, it wasn't nothing to say. There was nothing to say, Kev. Yeah. I just remember Rashid getting up and he turned around and he said some words to everybody. He said, man, I'm done. Love you guys. He walked out, and it was like, God, oh, wow. It's just the end?
But now that it's all over, a great career, all the things that you were able to do, looking back on it, kind of just, you know, your thoughts on everything, your career, and kind of all the things you were able to accomplish.
Did I sit back and just think about it? I do, man. More importantly, I think about the people that helped me get there. You know, yourself, Sam Mitchell, you know, Flip Saunders, you know, Doc Rivers, you know, endless people in Boston that helped me. You know, because you don't get here by yourself. Yeah. You know, I like to think that I was given great bones, kind of, if you will, or if not, great people around me. Great people. You know, I'm not talking about basketball players, I'm talking about people, characterized. When I look back and I think about the people that I had with me, that I leaned on, Paul Pierce, Kevin McHale, Sam Mitchell, Sam Cassell. These are people I'm leaning on. Like, these are people that I'm, you know, Chauncey Billups, Tyronn Lue. All these guys have great character. They're great people. They're all men. You know, Gary Trent, you know. People that I know to be real men. This is how you get from A to B. You know, I'm not really big on myself. Your friends kind of make it aware of what you were, you know, and without those perspectives, because people know I'm really humbled and I don't really get into, you know, materialistic things, nor do they drive me. I'm very competitive. I'm a hard worker. That's what I am. So now, all that's kind of stopped. I can actually say to you and be true about it, like everything, and say that when I watch basketball now, I enjoy it. I can be a fan. I'm back to being a fan now. Yeah. I'm not, oh no. I'm not sitting there like, oh no, he can't dribble his left hand, oh yeah, make him spin, oh yeah, oh, block it on the right. I had to turn that off. Yeah. And now I'm able to be in situations to where I'm teaching young guys, and I love teaching, not coaching, but teaching. Yeah. And I'm getting a different thrill out of all of this. I never thought that I would be on TV. I never thought that I'd be, you know, doing some of the things I'm doing, but I'm enjoying them. Things that kind of out of my norm of who I am as a person is kind of getting me to be this something else, to where I have all this knowledge that I want to give, so I'm able to be in positions to give it. So I'm happy in life. I'm able to sit back and look at it. I still look at it like, oh, what? And damn, that was 21 years? Yeah. And man, where did it go? And man. But I wouldn't do anything different, man. Everything has got me to this point, and I'm enjoying life and just trying to make all the opportunity that I can after this.
That point in your career where, you know, you're getting older, it's just getting a little more difficult. Talk to me about just kind of how that all happened, Kevin, how your brain went from being so ultra competitive to being able to say, I'm going to shut it down, and what's next for Kevin? What was the whole mindset during that time?
When I got to Brooklyn, when my Boston days was over, when I got to Brooklyn, I started to really think about, you know, how long do I want to play? And I started to discuss it with my wife, and, you know, just kind of predicating it to how it was set for our family and the structure. And I started doing things based on that versus, you know, the past being me and where I wanted to be and playing and these goals I wanted to accomplish. So now, you know, you got a list full. Now, you know, checked off almost everything on the list. Things changed, so I was just in a different place. So I've always wanted to be able, Sam taught me, always leave on your terms. When you're smart and you understand the business of the NBA, you'll understand the leverage that you'll have, and it won't be about the money, it'll be about you controlling it. And that's what I did. All the leverage I have where you go in and you say this number and they come back at a number, I wasn't doing that. I was more leveraging when I wanted to leave and how I wanted to leave and my control on where I was going. You know the business. You know, you get older, they ship you around like you're a box, and I wasn't going to do that. And a great friend, Flip, came and brought an opportunity to me to come back and, you know, what my origins were and where I had roots and where I was comfortable. All in all, of a plan, of an exit plan. And I believed it and I accepted it and I went back to Minnie. And without getting all deep into it, but when he left, so did his dream and his vision. And it's just sad to see that everybody in that organization didn't see the same vision and that we parted ways. I wanted it for the Sam experience that he gave me. I wanted to be able to give this back to this young kid now, Cat, and I want to give him everything that I had. And you don't get that over segments. You get that through a course of a year. And I had him every day. We see each other, same thing with Wiggs, and I would share myself and share whatever I had to give to the guys, and that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a part of an organization that I can actually have some stake and some skin into, which I thought I did, I do. We brought Sam in, and the plan was to have Sam be this this leader for the future. You know, we all agreed that his style was a bit unorthodox, but it was impressionable and it was impactful. And it was, more importantly, it was something that taught, which is what these kids need. Our league now is at a point where you have to teach more than anything. AAU has killed our league. Seriously, I hate to even say this, but it's real. AAU has killed our league from the perspective that these kids are not being taught anything. They have intentions and they want things, but the way they see it is not how our league works. You earn everything in this league. You're not entitled to anything. And it's more entitlement than anything. So I was feeling the whole teaching, you know, curating this whole different type of atmosphere that has been lost in Minnesota. You know, Minnesotan fans are true fans, man. They love they Wild, they love they Twins, they Vikings. Soccer's getting ready to come in. They love the Gophers. You know how this go, man. Like, I was more like, let's do this for the city. And it wasn't parallel. It was business. So, you know, I chose to remove myself. And when how they was doing Sam or how they fired Sam on the day of a game, it was just, you don't do that. You don't do that. And you know what? There's certain things that I was taught in this league, professionalism, loyalty. When those things start to leave our league, you know, that's what kind of person I am. I felt a certain way. So I started taking steps to, you know, to remove myself and set up my life for when I was ready, and I was ready.